Welcome back, everybody. This Thursday, November 14th, is World Diabetes Day, and this year's theme is family and diabetes. According to recent research from the International Diabetes Federation, less than 1 in 4 family members have access to diabetes education. Here to help us bring that awareness is York University's Professor Riddell and 2 of his awesome students. We've got Michael and Sarah. First up is Sarah.
Hi.
Good to see you both. Professor, good to see you as well.
Thanks for having us, Tina.
Let's talk a little bit about why we need to learn more. It's staggering. 1 in 2 people will develop diabetes within their lifetime.
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
We have 2 different forms, type 1 and type 2, and the likelihood that we develop it is about 50% in our lifetime.
So this applies to everybody at one point or another.
Yeah.
So what would you like to start with in terms of either the differences or how our body digests sugar?
Sure. Well, we're talking about type 1 diabetes today, and I wanted to let you know that we only have about a teaspoon of sugar in our bloodstream at any one point in time. And all of our focus is about controlling this amount of sugar in our bloodstream. And we do so by having to take insulin, which is the hormone that was discovered in Toronto almost 100 years ago that helps keep us all alive if we're living with type 1 diabetes.
So type 1 is basically something you're predisposed to genetically, as opposed to type 2 can happen through lifestyle, diet.
Well, we know that both have a genetic link, but type 1 is an autoimmune disease in which the beta cells stop producing insulin altogether, so we have to take insulin to live.
Okay.
And type 2 can be managed sometimes with oral medications and or with insulin.
Okay. So you have this as an example of?
I love showing this bag because this shows how much sugar our muscles can store if we're physically active. I brought Mike along just to show us what a physically active type 1 patient looks like, but this is 600 grams of energy in the form of sugar that our bodies can store and burn if we're exercising daily.
I love your story of poutine, because people automatically think of like sugary foods, but if you're eating a thing of poutine, it converts to sugar.
Well, it's about 60 grams of carbohydrate, and we can't store that in our blood. We can measure with these sensors how much our blood sugar goes up or down when we take insulin or eat poutine. If we're exercising, we can store that carbohydrate in our muscles and then burn it.
So 30 minutes of, let's say, running would burn off the carbohydrates in the poutine.
Yes, exactly.
That's awesome.
Exactly.
Okay. What do you have here, Sarah? You're a master's student at York University.
So I'm running a study out of Mike Riddell's lab, and what we're looking at is using insulin pump. So this is an insulin pump that communicates with this little device that sticks on the skin to give insulin. And I'm looking at exercise. So typically with type 1 diabetes, if you were to go out for a walk or cycle, your blood sugar would start going down, and you would have to consume a lot of carbs just to keep those levels steady.
Got it.
But with my study, we want to look at fasted exercise, and what we're finding is that we can actually use these devices to turn that insulin way down so that the body burns more fat and they don't have to eat all these carbs just to keep up.
Because technology has come a long way in terms of monitoring and managing as it is.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And you are all constantly monitoring your own, because all of you do have, is it all type 1 diabetes?
Yeah, all type 1. It's like accessories for type 1.
Okay, and speaking of the elite athlete, he's with Raj right now. Over to you, Raj.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me as the elite
too,
athlete.
Raj.
All right. Yeah, Michael Thornton joins us now. He's with the York Lions, the soccer team. Also, kinesiology is what you're taking at York. And as you can see, the diabetes, it's very debilitating. It's stopping you from living a life, right?
Oh, no.
Not at all.
I'm an active guy, you know, no worries with that. Diabetes management's good, and just enjoying playing my sport.
And you found out when you were 6 you were diagnosed, right?
Yeah, diagnosed when I was 6. That's actually the same time I started playing soccer. At first, my parents were a little bit worried about how my blood sugar control would be. But once I got into it, I learned that exercise and diabetes actually go hand in hand, and it's a good management strategy in many ways.
It's something you want to do. Exercise. I mean, it's a benefit for everybody. Is exercise,
for sure, yeah.
Right? And also, some of the technology has changed. You were showing me what you have on your hip now, and that has it's injecting insulin right now,
that is my insulin pump. It's inserted into my stomach here, and it delivers small increments of insulin throughout the day. And then to the right here, I have my continuous glucose monitor, and that shows my blood sugar readings throughout the whole day.
And that shows up. You really should lock your phone, by the way. But it shows up. You have an app on your phone, and you can follow it, right?
I've got an app, and it will show me actually my daily trends.
I don't know if you can see that.
If my blood sugar level is rising or dropping, how fast that is, and it's very useful, you know, for my sport, especially to know where my readings are at all throughout the day. So this technology is really helpful in terms of diabetes management.
And what has it meant, this technology? What kind of a difference does it make for you?
Oh, it makes a huge difference. Overnights, I don't have to worry about going low. It'll alarm me, wake me up. before the games, I can tell now if I'm actually dropping fast or rising. You know, sometimes you'll get that adrenaline rush that'll increase your blood sugar, and just always being able to see where your readings are at and manage with micro dosages through the insulin pump. It's technology has made it a lot more manageable, and it's come a long way.
And what do you say to people, because I mean, what is it, 50% of the population ends up being diagnosed with diabetes at one point or another? What do you say to people who find they have that diagnosis?
I would say, you know, just don't let it stop you. It's definitely manageable, and just take care of it, stay on top of it, and just live your life how anyone else would.
All right, can you give us some tips on how to use that soccer ball? And I'm glad we called each other on what to wear today, too.
Yeah.
The blue is all the rage.
Thank you for all being amazing role models, because I know today people are being diagnosed. You know, I have family members who also have it. So rather than let that stop you, just stay informed and do what you can to control it as much as you can. So thank you for being awesome role models this morning. To find out more about World Diabetes Day this Thursday, head to yorku.ca. Go for it, show it off. This is your
More
moment.
on BT coming up after the break. Here
Makes
we
it
go.
look so easy. Woo!
Show off.
Oh!